Hey there. So are you a real estate agent and a mother? Well, today I am going to be sharing with you some advice. Yes, some advice that I wish I would have received when I first got my real estate license, and we're going to hop into it right now. Hey there, Mariah K here. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your very first time here. I help real estate agents leverage and scale their business the modern way through the power of social media. If that is of interest to you, consider subscribing down below and make sure you tap that bell for notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video. I hear from real estate agents like you all the time that are looking to build their business, that are looking to scale their business, and they have kids at home and they're wondering, how can I do it all? Well, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I would love to set up a time to chat with you. Are you ready to hear some advice of things that I wish, yes, I wish somebody would have told me when I got my real estate license and I had kids? So let me share with you some things that I really think hopefully will be helpful to you, and things that you honestly should know if you are a parent and you also are a real estate agent. So number one, continue doing the things that you love most. Yes, I'll say that again. Continue doing the things that you love most. You oftentimes as parents, I know I am guilty as charged for sure, that oftentimes when I, first started having kids, I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore, or I can't do this. Yes, there's going to be a time and a season for certain activities and certain things that you're doing. However, don't abandon everything that you are doing and everything that you love, because let me share why. Number one is there are people that are in the things that you are doing. So for example, I played soccer growing up. I love soccer. I played soccer in college. I even played soccer semi-professionally after college for many years. Well, once kids came along, I told my husband, I was like, oh, I guess my soccer days are over. And he looked at me, he's like, why would you give up soccer? That's been a part of your life forever. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right? Same thing. And so I remember I'm at one of my soccer games and somebody I knew, their parents needed help selling a house. And they said, oh wait, Mariah, I know you're in real estate, right? Would you be willing to help my parents? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I would be happy to help them. And so by doing something that I absolutely loved, I was able to gain a client from that experience. Same thing, I have lots of different, stories and situations that I got into playing pickleball. If you haven't tried pickleball yet, go ahead and try it and you can thank me later. So one day I'm out playing pickleball, something that I absolutely love to do too. And we, went for a water break. We're sitting down for a second and, my friend says, hey, you know what? My husband and I are thinking about buying an investment property. We're looking in this area. What do you know about that area? I told her everything I knew about that area. A week later, she's like, hey, can we go tour some properties in this area? I said, absolutely. Next thing I know, a week later, they are under contract for a house. And this is all because I was doing something that I loved. So pro tip and advice number one, continue doing what you love, because there is a good chance that there are going to be other people in that community or in that group that are also doing things that you like too, and that will eventually need to buy, sell, invest in a home. So that's number one. Number two, build your business the way you want your business to be built. I remember when I first got into real estate, I'm going to date myself. I got my license over 16 years ago. Yes, over 16 years ago. And when I first got started, it was all about cold calling, door knocking, handing out flyers, sending mailers. And I remember thinking at the time, I was an elementary teacher teaching elementary school, and I got my real estate license to supplement my teaching salary and to do that more in the summers, springs, right? So I remember thinking to myself, well, cold calling, that's just not going to work because I'm at school working during the day, right? Okay, no, door knocking. Well, I guess I could do that like at night, but as a as a female, like I'm not going to go do that. So there were all these things. And yes, many people might say, Mariah, that's just a mindset thing. But I remember people telling me like, these are the different things you need to do to build your business. Well, for me personally, that just didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel right. So instead, I decided to build my business based on my community, based on my sphere, and based on social media. To me, those things felt very comfortable. The door knocking, the cold calling, the sending mailers out, and all of that was not I didn't feel like that was in my wheelhouse or things that I felt comfortable doing. So I decided to build my business around things that I felt comfortable with. So my advice to you is build your business around the way that you feel comfortable building. So if you feel comfortable door knocking and cold calling, by all means do that. If you feel, comfortable by building it through social media and through your sphere of influence, do it that way. Build your business the way you feel comfortable. You are the boss. So remember this. There are so many times where I have been talking to other real estate agents and they're like, Mariah, I feel like I'm working every night, all the weekends, all this, all that. And I said, well, what does your schedule look like? And there's like, well, this is when my clients want to go tour houses, or this is when, I have to show this house, or I have to do these things. And I said, well, what if you were in charge of your own schedule? And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, if you have to go pick up your kids from school at 2:30 and it's going to, maybe you give yourself an hour window, 2:30 to 3:30, that's, kid time of when you're picking up carpool. Well, don't schedule anything during that. Make your appointments before that. Maybe when your kids are at school, you can tell your clients, hey, I'm available from 9 to 11, 11 to noon, whatever it is, you set your schedule. And oftentimes what happens is your clients will realize that you are a busy person. And yes, you are, going to give them parameters and you're going to give them windows that you can work with them, but set your own schedule, make it that is something comfortable for you. And nobody needs to know that you have an appointment. If somebody says, yeah, I really want to go tour a house at 3:00, and in your mind, oh, hey, that's when I'm picking up the kids from carpool. Nobody needs to know that that is your appointment. You set that schedule. And if somebody says, oh, hey, I want to go tour this house at 3:00, you can say, oh, you know what? I've already got an appointment at that time, but I could do it at this time, or I could do it at this time, and make it work for your schedule. So that is number 3, set your own schedule. Number 4, have a game plan and know what you want. Yes, have a game plan, have your lesson plan, and know what you want. So a lot of times people that are, real estate agents and parents are trying to figure out like, okay, I'm just taking all these clients and I'm doing all this stuff and I'm doing all the busyness, but in the long run, they don't actually know what they want. So figure out, how much money do you actually want to make? How many houses do you actually want to close? How many hours realistically do you want to put into your business? And do you want to be at the kids' soccer games? Do you want to be picking up carpool? Do you want to? So figure out those things that you actually really want and then reverse engineer it. Yes, reverse engineer what it is that you actually want. Because once you figure out like, hey, I actually, if I could make this amount of money, then I really just need to close this many homes. If you figure out like what the average price point is per house in your area. So, and maybe you're a little bit generous. So, like, oh, if I want to make this amount of money, I need to close 8 homes within that year to make that much. Or maybe it's 10 homes, maybe it's 12 homes, maybe it's 15, right? And then kind of figure out, okay, that means I need to sell a house a month. That means I need to sell 2 houses a month. Figure out what you realistically want, and then start putting in the time. If you realize, gosh, I'm putting in way too many hours, or hey, I'm not getting the results I want, so I need to maybe put in more time to get those results. So figure out what it is that you really want, income, hours, household, those type of things, and then you can reverse engineer it instead of just like throwing darts at the dartboard, because really, if you don't have a game plan, then you'll just start, going to work. But what is it that you're actually really doing? So have that plan. Number 5, stop comparing. Yes, stop comparing. I know when my husband and I and our kids, we moved into a new neighborhood, And the new neighborhood that we got into, there were some big time real estate agents in the area that we moved into. And immediately my brain kind of went into panic mode. And I was like, well, do you know, like, these are like the top producers in the area and they do X amount of sales every year. And so instantly I'm like psyching myself out before I'd even like landed into this new neighborhood. And I was already comparing like, well, this is how they do their business. And every year, they throw this big event at Easter time and they're dropping eggs out of the sky with money. And they're doing all these things. Like, how can I even compete with that? Like, how can I compare? And so advice to you is just be you. There are going to be people who want to work with you because they know you, they like you, they trust you, all the things that we know, right? But you are going to find your tribe. And honestly, not everybody wants to work with that, big fish, that top producer. Not everybody's going to want to work with you or them or whatever. So and if you have that like abundant mindset, there is going to be more work for you than you probably will, even have time for or room for in your schedule. So if we stop comparing ourselves and psyching ourselves out, then you will find your people and your people will find you. I like to say, I am looking for the people that are looking for me. I am looking to do business with people that are looking to do business with me. I'm looking for friends that are looking for me, right? So our people will find us, and trusting in that and not getting so caught up in the comparison is a tip that I wish I would have known earlier on. And last but not least, going along with that, you are enough. You are doing enough. And kind of going along with that comparison, you know what? There might be people in your area that are doing newsletters and mailers and flyers and community events and all the things, right? You might pick one or two of those things, or you might not pick any of those things. You might be building your business completely different than some of these other real estate agents. And so you figuring out what makes you you and what value you provide to your clients that you are working with. So instead of, again, kind of comparing or building your business the way you see other people building their businesses, be you, be authentic to you, and build the business really of your dreams. Whatever it is, of how, if you're like, gosh, I really want to build my business in the carpool pickup line on social media, then do it. You're the boss, you are the CEO. So you run your business like you are the CEO, and the value that you will bring, again, you will attract those clients to you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So hopefully you found value out of this. And again, if you are looking to build your business the modern way by scaling and leveraging through the power of social media, and you're a mom just like me and you're wanting to do this in the carpool pickup line like I started my business, then feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I connect with moms and real estate agents like you all the time, and I absolutely love it. Take care and have a great one. Bye.